It's coming. Bam.
Yo, this is Raul Vega, and you are watching the Break It Down live show.
Yeah. Yeah. John?
I think the question of the day is why is Raul Vega such a Mac? Raul comes to us from Los Angeles, California, where he is, I guess, by the measure of a Grammy Award, successful
Cheers.
team
Mm,
member of a composition team that includes his boss, Hans Zimmer. They recently won a Grammy Award for his work on the team's work. Let's be fair. The team's work on Dune 2, which was one of many Grammy nominated works that Raul has participated in. So finally, after I think this is the ninth one that was
mhm.
nominated, you won, and
Yeah,
you were awarded a statue with your name engraved on it, which I was lucky enough to see in person.
yeah, that's it. Still
Aside
crazy,
from
man.
that,
It's still
Raul
very
has,
cool.
I have to say this though, Raul has also been the producer of the serial podcast Rose Drive, which was a terrific success and uh, had critical acclaim, even if the critics were just local people who recognized all the landmarks you noted.
Man, that's
Uh,
everything. That's why I did it.
yeah, yeah, it was great. But anyway, tell us about this journey of now having been a Grammy Award winner. How has that served
Oh,
you?
man. I've talked about this a couple. First of all, it's good to see you guys again. It's been
That's
at
good
least
to
like
see you.
a year and some change, I think, since last time we talked. Because the last time we talked, I was doing some vocal work on the Zack Snyder series, and
Yeah.
a year later, look at us now. I got a whole new studio behind me. I've got everything. I've been building out like crazy this year. So, um, yeah, but
It's really good to hear.
it's been cool, man. I mean, I've been the thing I've been trying to tell people is it's this project, of course, Dune Part Two is incredible, and working with Hans for 13 plus years is wonderful, and Denis, the director, I mean, is just such a charming, wonderful human being, and so all these factors kind of came together. But to me, it's really about just the last 13 years of my professional career, all kind of like coming together. And as much as this cool little statue is nice for this project, it's really feels kind of reflective about my professional career and what it is I've been doing. So yeah, I'm very grateful for it. But exactly like you had said, John, our whole team, we really put everything into it. And that's always acknowledged by Hans and everybody else is like it's very much a team effort. But to be able to go on this journey with him and with my colleagues and just keep pushing the boundaries of music, storytelling, and film scores, man. I mean, that's kind of what it's about. So it's cool. It's great. It just makes me think, what's next? What's next, man? We won music, so where do we go from here?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me ask you this. When you say you guys really went for it and did a great job, and of course you guys do, but that's why you get to work in the first place. You guys never miss. So
Yeah.
what is there a difference between a Grammy award winning film and then the other films, the other times you guys have been nominated?
No, to be honest, it doesn't matter whether. I mean, because like here's the thing: we'll work on the music just like any other artists. And we're not doing it for the awards. I mean, who the hell knows if the awards are even going to come, right? But
Right.
every single individual project has to be treated like the king. Like every project, even if some of the projects we have, are not great. And I've worked on a few that were just like, okay, well, we got to keep the lights on, we got to keep fed, so like we're obviously going to do this, but we always want to make sure we're like the golden child. So it's not like the effort goes harder depending on the project necessarily, or like, oh, the possibilities for awards. It's just everything. We just want to make sure that everything's being told in a really fresh, new way. So that this was for Dune Part Two, and then this year, the score for F1 got nominated for a Critics' Choice Award and a Golden Globe for Best Original Score. Um, I think the soundtrack album with all the artists was nominated for a Grammy. I don't think the score was, but you just never know, man. You just got to treat everything like it's brand new, and your cup's got to be empty. So, you want to make sure that everything you work on that we're doing is just telling the story in exactly the way that um, is meant for the project, not necessarily like, oh, let's just do the same stuff we've been doing for years. In fact, we want to try to get away from that. So.
So, you've been on this team now for 13 years. I think one of the things that I'd like to explore is the emotional connections that you have with the team that have to do with your success being so tied to this thing. Because I think, as Pete pointed out, there's some amount of maybe people think that you are you're awarded a project, you're getting ready to start a new film, and this one might be the one that you win. But there's a flip side to that, which is that you look at everything that you get as, man, I get to work on the biggest films in the world. I mean, you're talking about F1.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus
And it's
Christ.
just like, you mention it casually because at work it's just the next one.
Mhm.
But you guys work on the biggest movies in the world. And how do you, I think the thing becomes like, at some point you may want to branch off on your own, but then there's that leap of, well, I might not get the next F1 for a little while, and how do I bridge that gap? So where is it that you are with the struggle of, man, I work for this operation that gets the best projects, to at some point I'm going to want to spread my wings. What does spreading your wings look like?
Well, this looks exactly what you got behind me, man. I mean, I know you probably can't see it that well, but there used to be a bed here. There was like all kinds of stuff, and so now, this whole year I've been building this out, and you can't see the other side, but I just bought me a nice, sexy new little Mac Studio thing that I decked out. So, a bunch of new microphones and lighting. Um, Aesthetics aside, I realize what's kind of important for the way that my brain works is, regardless of these big projects, I love being part of a team. I like being the cog in the overall manufacturing of like a giant grandfather clock. I like to be a support beam in that and to contribute and work on these projects because um, it's amazing. I mean, just kind of like you were saying, it's like these to be able to work on these projects with Hans and with our team is great. Ultimately it's my name's in the credit, but it's not music by me because I'm not the one writing the music, but it's not even about that. I love to be that go-to person. I love to be the person someone can bounce ideas off of and to contribute ideas to what sounds we're going to be recording and how we're going to design them. But there's the other part of my brain that very much is like, all right, where's my team? Where's my stuff under my brand? And so these last couple of years, I think I talked about this last year when we spoke, but I've been building out my home voiceover studio. And now it's actually, as of like a couple days ago, since I got my new little machine, it's good to go. So what does that look like for me? I've been putting together voiceover reels for actors, cutting together demo reels for animation and commercial and all that stuff. I've had a pretty strong client list coming last year. I have a couple I'm doing even next week. So it's continuing to expand on that. I've been getting into the ADR game, the automated dialogue replacement or after dialogue replacement thing that you see in movies where they have to go back and recapture the isolated dialogue because maybe it didn't come through on the scene. So I've been doing that. I just recently did one I just freelanced for a Lifetime movie, which can't quite say the project yet, but and that was cool because they came to me. It wasn't a go to Hans and then Hans is like, oh, let him record it. This one came directly to me. So I'm really wanting to kind of expand in those worlds, not just music, but anything voice related. Got a couple of podcasts of my own that I'm trying to launch here in this room. So Yeah, man. I mean, I think I don't think I'm ever going to be satisfied just doing one thing. As you guys know, every time I talk to you, there's something new that I'm kind of cooking up in the kitchen. But
Yeah.
a big factor of that is my brain and my body and my artist's ear knows the difference when I'm doing something for someone else in support of someone else for a much bigger picture, and then when I'm doing it for me and for my projects and my things. And I can honestly say I don't think I'd be satisfied if I only had one or the other. So all to say, as long as Hans will have me, I'm here for it. He knows all about my voiceover world, and he's like so supportive of it. He keeps asking me, he's like, "When is that taking off? Like, when? How can I help?" So yeah, it's just a matter of continuing to build and build, and like we said, may not necessarily be hitting me up to score the next F1, but yeah, hit me up. You want me to do like all the dialogue for it? I'm down.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
So what
Yeah.
about his having a Jedi master like Hans Zimmer,
Mhm.
to help you along in your career is really nice because I'm sure that he values your position on his team, and that is something that's really nice. I mean, I think if you're the member of a team that's really working and you have a specific thing that you do that contributes to that team that really creates reward for you, and
Mhm.
that's fantastic. um, and then to have a side project that not only doesn't betray your work on that team, but gives you a different perspective that probably creates additional value for the work that you're doing on that team. That scratches all the itches and it makes you infinitely more valuable in everything that you do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I hope so. I appreciate that. It's nice. It's one of the things, and I've said this before. I just so fortunate being able to work at the place I work with my team, and Hans champions you. He's not. He wants to help build your career in whatever way that is. And when all the Rose Drive stuff was happening, and we were working on a TV show. I had my own writing team. We were pitching to producers, we were pitching to Apple TV before Apple TV was Apple TV back in 2019. And I had all these crazy things that were coming in. And I'm sitting here like, damn, man, if this takes off, like I gotta focus on this. How do I tell Hans Zimmer, like, hey man, I might want to go work on my own thing? And I remember I walked in and talked to him. And I mean, he instantly was like, "You've been doing some incredible stuff I hear. I just want to know how I can help you. I love that all these people came to you. Like, you've given me, at that point, it was like 7 years. He's like, "You've given me 7, 8 years of your time here. Let me return the favor. Let me connect you with my lawyers. Let me connect you with this director. Um, I want you to be in the room now, but uh, in a different way, not just as like, okay, you're helping on these projects, but really giving those one-on-one connections and kind of supporting it. So um, it's a dream come true, man, because not everybody's like that. I've been working in Hollywood long enough to have met some of the guys at the very top and learn from very trusted sources how some of these cats are just not in it for anybody other than themselves. And anybody else is a threat, even their own team can be a threat. And that sucks, and I'm very fortunate that that's not how it functions at my studio. I wouldn't have been there for as long as I have and continue to be there if that were the case. So, um, yeah, it's wild. I mean, our industry's kind of changing a lot, especially with this whole Netflix acquiring Warner Brothers and everything. I mean, fortunately on my side of things, it's not like we're going to be short when it comes to work, but it's crazy. It's very, very interesting times.
I think about
Yeah.
when we first had you on the show, almost like your world debut outside of your own podcast, which was just then launching. We have no we take no credit, everybody. This is all Raul, but it's so neat to see where you've come in 10 years. And man, what's the limit? Like if you're a Grammy Award winner now, when we're talking in 10 years, you know, especially
Yeah.
with the things that we're all working on, man, your career has nowhere near peaked, and you have so much energy in your career. People are coming to you. You're connected more now than ever before. It
Mhm.
just gets. It's almost like you're just getting started, and look where you already are. Like that's how
Yeah.
this industry works, right? And this I say this with like all like the You have done amazing things. I'm so stoked for you. I love talking to you as I get excited about the stuff that I'm working on and trying to do and seeing that there's a future for me. You're like my big brother in a lot of ways. And really, you're just getting going. I mean, that's how this industry
Just
is,
getting
right? Like
going.
people have 70-year careers in this field, and here you are, and you've already done so much. What can you dream big enough to see what 10 years holds for you?
I appreciate you saying all that, man. And no, I think we should call it back to our first episode real quick. Over, God, that must have been 2017, something like that. 2016, I think.
Something.
Think so. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was the first time I had ever done any sort of podcast or interview or conversation. Anytime anybody wanted to hear what's inside this crazy brain of mine, you guys broke me into that, man. I never forget. That's why I've done break it down like a million times, and I'll keep doing it as long as you guys will have me. So yeah, man. I mean, I appreciate all of that. I don't know. It keeps shifting for me because it's not a matter of boredom. It's not like I'm doing one thing and like, oh, I want to move on to the next. The more I do, the more I interact with people, the more my interests just grow. And
Mm.
I've learned so much from my actors these last couple of years of them coming in and learning, just more about the human condition with them. Because, I love my musician friends, my studio rap friends, but like, I understand how those frequencies work, pun intended. And we get really emotional and stuff we do, but actors have to feel it and show it, and they embody it in a way that like we convey it through music, through sound. So we don't have to like speak it or really say it with our face. Actors, I mean, they're so raw with it. And so it's been really kind of cool to understand that aspect of it in a way that I've experienced directing them, but now that I have this business that I'm running, it just gets me more excited about how can I be in the same way that I've been a support for Hans. Even though I am running my own ship on this, constantly thinking of how can I support my artists beyond what I've been able to do, because essentially if I'm cutting together a voiceover reel for somebody, they come in, we do the work, I get paid, hopefully they're happy with everything, and then we move on. But the more I'm building out my client list, the more I have a roster that I can then show to a company like Netflix or Hulu or any video game company and be like, yo, you guys want to record your stuff here? You need extra voices? I have a list of people that I can send you that I personally have worked with. So I don't know, man. I definitely want to get to a place to where I can take this outside of the home. Like you walk in here, you have no idea. There's a bed literally in that wall right there. That's a Murphy bed. You would have no idea. But eventually expand outside of here. But also, not even just in LA. It'd be cool to go up to like Vancouver or Seattle or New York or something, So yeah, I mean, accolades be damned. I mean, it's I don't take it for granted at all, but you're right. It feels like I'm just getting started, but where I'm headed, I don't know, but I'm excited for it. I have more confidence now than I think I've ever had in my life. And I know the more I do this, it's going to grow, it's going to get knocked down, and I'm going to pick myself back up and learn and be humbled and hopefully just keep expanding. So, yeah, as far as 10 years specifically, I have no idea, but I'm just going to keep making noise. That's what I was meant to do. So let's do it.
Nice. Yeah, Pete and I think had the same notion. He had a much more expanded explanation of it. I was just thinking, I hope this guy don't change his number.
I'm here, baby. You guys know me. I'm here. You know where to find me. I'm always here. Come on.
You know
I was
what,
hoping to
man?
get maybe I was gonna say I was hoping to get a nameplate, like a Grammy nameplate, make my own, a little magnet, and just borrow it from a night or two. Just walking around.
Take it, man. Take it. It's all yours.
Yeah, you just clean it thoroughly when you get it back.
Oh yeah, right.
You know what though? I was wondering, this is a little side note, because I just found out that MTV has officially shut down.
Sit down. Yeah.
Uh, does Hans ever acknowledge that he was in the Buggles?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. In fact, when he did his Hans Zimmer live tour, years ago. I mean, he's still doing it. He's on. They're on hiatus right now, but they'll get back to it. I think at the end of February.
Mhm.
He did a show in London, and he brought back the band, and
Wow.
they played all their hits, you know, and well, that's
All
true. Well, all their. I mean, I never follow them aside from obviously, you know,
yeah.
Video
They
Killed the
clearly had
Radio
some
stuff.
fans though.
Yeah, they did. Uh, yeah. So, yeah, man.
And
I
for
mean,
anybody who's watching who's not in on the joke, the Buggles, their big song was "Video Killed the Radio Star," which was the first song that MTV ever played on air.
yeah,
And now with the conclusion of the network on an official basis, because I mean, really, functionally, that network had concluded quite a while ago,
right. Yeah, yeah,
but now there just is no more MTV, and so that's the close of a chapter that Hans was part of starting.
yeah, yeah. Truly, truly. Yeah, that's nuts.
Anyway,
I
so
want to go
but
back to
what
that
an
first episode
illustrious
that we. Oh,
career.
go ahead, John.
Yeah. Oh no, go ahead. We could talk
I'm
about
gonna go back to the
Hans
first
Zimmer's
episode.
illustrious career
Mhm,
forever. Let's
mhm.
go
Yeah.
back to the first episode.
Well, because it's funny. So we hosted it at Jay Moore's house, which is actually Jeannie Buss's house. You know, so we're all connected in this way where
Yeah.
Hollywood can be a very flat place.
Mhm.
You brought beers, by the way, which
I
was
did.
just
Mhm.
already like smart. Like, you know, and you were so like nervous about this because it was your first time. It's unknown. You're going to some unknown. I don't even know if
Yeah,
you knew you were going to Jeannie Buss's house, probably Jay Moore's, but
yeah,
you already were handling things like a pro. You know, you're like, you know, here's what's my get out of jail free card. Here's a sixer, and that's just goes to who you still are today. You know, you're trying to like, how do I show up in the best way possible? How do I become a great boss? How do I become a great employee? You and I had a conversation by my house. I think it was at a restaurant, and I was like, "Why are you still with Hans Zimmer? What are you doing?" And that's right around the time, if I remember correctly, where you were working on branching out. And you're like, "I might
mhm,
go on to other things." And then here's Hans being like you, or you being like Hans. Hans is like, "Hey man, you're doing big things. Let's make sure we take care of that. So you stay in the family, and you're getting what you need." All of that stuff, it all goes together in this slurry of things that we create. And again, it's just remarkable. And I'm speaking more to the audience than anything else. It's just as you do these things and you just keep doing, keep going, keep getting better, these good things will happen. And you'll look back and you'll see these moments where these magic things are happening in real time, but you don't even realize it as it's happening. So this is a real question here, but I just wanted to throw that at you and see what you thought about it.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. It's you know, it's funny you mentioned the first time we met because I'm pretty sure when I showed up with those beers, I'm pretty sure Jay wasn't drinking or something. I'm pretty sure he was like, "Oh, I'm sober," and I was like, "Cool." I brought beer over to your place. I've never met you. I loved his stand up. I mean, I remember from Small Soldiers. That was my favorite. That was one of my favorite movies, and he's one of them in it. And it's like, cool, man. You don't drink. I just brought over. Uh, but no, man. I mean, I really appreciate that reflection because I keep going. You know, I try to keep flowing and keep things moving. But this is a beautiful reminder of like just take a step, just stop for 1 second and look at where you've come and where you're at, and even that acknowledgement of where you know things could go. Um, it's I don't know. I'm almost kind of waiting to like someone to shake me awake because it's every day, man. It's just like I get new ideas and new opportunities to do stuff. But I mean, you know, like I said, I like you said too. I mean, it's not just a matter of doing the work or any of that. I mean, there's so many people in this town and in this world who are astronomically, I'm not saying this to be humble or fake humble, who are way smarter, way better at what you know, even if they don't know exactly how I do it, they can figure it out way quicker than I can. All these things. So to be able to be lucky enough to be in this position and truly respect it and grow and learn. And that's kind of what it's about, you know. Um, it, I think it takes a very particular type of temperament. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's never anything that I take for granted, you know. But it's really nice to kind of look at these reflective periods and just feel like, damn, okay, we like as I said, I don't feel at all that I'm done, you know. And even this little baddie, If you guys wanted to see it,
There
Look
it
at that.
is.
there it is.
Look at that.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, even this is, I mean, mind blowing. And it's crazy to know that I think something like only in the like 67 years or whatever that these have been going on, only like 8,000 people have them or something like that. Like, I mean, maybe even less than that. I don't even know. Which in the grand scheme of music and all that stuff, like it's crazy. It's crazy. But even with that, man, I mean, it's just like cool. It's like we said before, what's that next level? And for right now, I'm going to keep working with Hans as long as he's working. You know, even if at some point, which, you know, who knows when it's going to happen, if I'm able to take off on my own stuff and have that be my primary thing and then be hired by him to freelance or something. I mean, we have a lot of engineers and other people who do that as well, who've started their own companies, their own business, and they still work with him on these projects. I'd love to do that. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny you bring that up because, yeah, a few years ago we were talking about that. And the thing is, I didn't have any direction. I didn't know where I was going to go with that. And now I'm like, well, the more I do my own stuff, the more clarity I have, you know, and the more I'm convincing myself I can do it, you know.
Yeah. No, your confidence, man. You mentioned that you're more confident now. Your confidence is evident, because the the work output, seems to be expanding and continues to get stronger. And it's one thing to not have direction, but when you don't have direction for your personal things while your day job is with Hans Zimmer,
Mhm.
there's still a lot of learning opportunity there that'll feed it, and that, and the direction will come. And as far as bringing beers to the house of somebody who's sober, I do remember that moment, and I got a kick out of that too. I was like, man, this got to suck a little bit for the, because the thought was there.
Yeah,
But I know Pete and I drank those beers. For the
you
record,
should.
Oh yeah.
we those beers did not go to waste.
Yeah.
So neither practically nor for the gesture.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, we had a great time there, and it was fun to see that that was the beginning. And we knew at that moment, Pete and I both, we knew at that moment, we thought, this is going to be really good. And Raul's got a great bright future, and we saw all of those things. You are lucky enough, though, to achieve some of these successes while you can still be reflective with some of the people you've encountered along the way. And I know that you remain in touch with some of those people, but I think it's appropriate to say that we did an article for you that has yet to publish, but it'll be out. I don't know, maybe Grammy month coming
Cool.
up for Benicia magazine.
Yeah.
In your hometown. And in it, I tried to give all the shout outs. I know you shouted out a professor of yours at Irvine Valley College,
Mhm.
Dr. Daniel Lusco.
Mhm.
You shouted out someone we had lost since then, which was who was a professor of yours at Long Beach State, Dr. Carol Bremer.
Mhm. Carolyn Bremer.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, Carolyn Bremer.
Mhm.
Um, Are you still in touch with, aside from the late Dr. Bremer, are you still in touch with these people where they can say, "Hey, man, nice work"?
Yeah. Crazy because actually, I don't know if I said this in the interview, John, but I got in touch with Dr. Lusco and Dr. Rochford, who were my mentors at Irvine Valley College. That's when I like really started my music journey, and
Mhm.
they had a graduate composers recital at Irvine Valley. It was a huge thing. I wasn't unable to attend it, but uh, all the composition students had asked me questions about, like what it was like to go to school there. They obviously want to know what it's like to transfer then to a university and what that education's like, which to me now I'm like, that was so long ago. I'm sure the system's changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, and then I did an interview with them as well to kind of talk about my work, and um it's humbling, man. I mean, and it's also cool to just see, like, me being 38 and seeing these kids who are fresh out of high school, and they're hungry and they're excited and they're nervous, and they're like, their dreams are endless, and yet they also still live in that world of like, I don't know if I can do it. Like, it's so interesting to kind of go back in that mindset. Little side tangent, but related to it, my one of my friends, my acting friends, her sister, she's a 17-year-old composer and pianist, and she plays like nobody's business. And I had FaceTime with her because she was curious about film music, and I got her connected with one of my really good friends out here as a composer, and they had a chat. So, like, just to kind of give that perspective and to be able to know, like, I like being that bridge for people. Is like, I may not be able to help you, but I know people with much smarter brains that can. Uh, and so I say that only because that's how I got my internship at remote at Hansa Studio, because Carolyn Bremer knew I wanted to get into film music. She had a very easy connection there, and she connected me and one of my closest friends who graduated with me to the studio. Um, she wasn't particularly somebody who like had too much of an interest in film music. That wasn't her world. But she was like, I know this is what you want to do. This is the spot you want to do it at. Let me connect you there. And it's like those tiny things that aren't that tiny go such a long way. Uh, so yeah, I try to keep in touch with my faculty as much as I can. It can be tricky with just time and everything. And but to have Irvine Valley most recently reach out to me and say, hey, we want to do a spotlight on you. We'd love for you to come down and talk to the kids. um it's cool because it as long ago as it was that was me, it wasn't that long ago. So
Yeah.
it's nice. It's not just humbling, it's very grounding, and it's, like I said, it's really cool to because I'm entering my midlife, and I'm excited for it, I'm down with it. But the world isn't that new anymore to me, right? And so
Hmm. Hmm.
to to see people who are young, and everything is still really new, and they're just getting into their little adult boots and their little adult brains in a lot of ways, it's inspiring. Like, there's so much more, they take so much more risks, which is like, when I was talking to you, that was kind of like the peak of me being like, I'm just gonna do my own podcast, I'm gonna do my own shit, and if that was brought to me now, I'd probably be a little bit more calculated about it, a little bit more, well, I don't know, I don't have the budget, I don't have this, I can't pay anybody anything. And but then it was like, just keep going, just keep dreaming, so yeah.
Yeah, that is cool, man. I don't think I've ever asked you this, but how are your playing chops? Do you actually play?
Yeah, well, there's a time, man. There's a time I was cutting up some ivories with these. Uh, it's been a minute. I'm not gonna lie, man. It's been a minute since I've really kind of sat down at the piano and just really played it out. I mean, the piano was my first love, truly. I discovered music when I was like 16. I was pretty late to the game. We didn't take piano lessons or anything like that when we were kids. And
Hmm.
did the same thing everybody else does. Was in high school. One of my friends at the time he just started playing bass, and he was like, "Hey man, I got a bass, and I've been playing it for the last 6 months. Like, you got long fingers, you should play guitar or the keys." And I was like, "Okay, I'll do the keys because I can sit down and I can just tinker around." Then we made a really awful little garage band, and it was fun. It was great.
Wait. Yeah.
And I knew I never wanted to be a performer full time. That much was true, because I had too much fun taking pre-existing tunes and just like making my own arrangements of them. And as much as I love pop music, it wasn't pop tunes that I was messing around with. It was film music or video game music or classical. It was all the instrumental stuff, and my nervous system just reacted very well with this. So um but yeah, man, I mean, I was a double major both in music, or at Irvine Valley and at Cal State Long Beach, both as composition and as a piano performance. I do miss the ritual of it. You know, I feel like if you put the piano in front of me, I mean, the amount of times I go to my friends' houses who are not, working in music as a profession,
Yeah.
it's crazy, man. There's always two assumptions. One, that I'm this virtuosic like player and I can just sit down and play anything and they'll put music and I'm like, oh yeah, let me do this. And I'm like, you got the wrong cat for that, man. I need to sit down.
Yeah.
I need to like get it all in my head. Like I need at least 40 hours of practice without anybody in front of me. Um, and then the next thing, which is kind of crazy, is that people are like, oh, so like, tell me all the music to listen to, all the bands, all the hip hop, all this stuff. Like, what are you listening to? And I'm like, man, I work in music full time. So as much as I'm listening, I like the sound of the streets. I like the sound of nature. Like when you work in music, you're not listening to music all the time. And that's not a bad thing. If anything, that's where the evolution of music has gone for me. So even though I may not be playing as much as I used to, I'm not writing as much as I used to. Uh, Music is still the source of everything that I do, and to be able to get to these next areas where the mindset isn't necessarily about, can I be this or want to do this, whatever. It's just kind of going and doing it. I'm gonna end this little thing on this. There was this really funny meme. I don't know if you guys have seen it. John, you might have, but it was like the three stages of being a recording engineer, and it was beginner, intermediate, and professional. And so the first slide is like beginner engineer, and it's a guy that walks up to to an amplifier, and he's got these microphones, and he goes, "I'm gonna put these two microphones in front of this amplifier, and I hope it sounds good." And then we go to the intermediate engineer. And this dude who comes in, he's like, yes, I got these DPA 4011s. I'm going to do an XY cross configuration. And, I got to make sure the phantom power's kicked in and that, the room, the noise floor is going to be this, because if I angle it exactly at this 45-degree, and you're speaking all this jargon, right? Then it's going to sound good. And then the last one was a professional audio engineer. And dude walks in, he goes, I'm going to put microphones in front of it and it's going to sound good.
Yeah.
And I bring that up not to make fun of that intermediate stage, but I think it's something we all kind of have to go through. It's like
Sure.
you first start with like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then when you kind of know what you're doing, you want to know how to do all of it. And you want to show the world you know how to do all of it. You want to prove to yourself and to everybody else that you know exactly what you're saying and what you're doing. And eventually you get to the point where you're like, I don't know, man, there's no rules. This is the same reason I set the microphones up this way is the same reason that I put water on my toothpaste like in the morning. It's just something that I do. Not everybody does it. There's no secret sauce. This is just what works for me. But yeah, anyways.
Yeah, that's funny. The intermediate stage, the technical phase. I asked you that because we have a dear friend of ours he's a professor emeritus of composition at Cal. And, his name is Dr. Bob Greenberg. We love him. He's great. He's a Steinway artist. So he has a Steinway concert grand piano in his house.
Oof, nice.
Yeah. And actually has two pianos in his house. He's got a baby grand in the living room where it can be played. But his office where he composes things is in the back of his house, and that's where he has the grand piano. And
Can I say this about
it's
his pianos too? These aren't front door
yeah.
pianos. These are hanging from a crane pianos. Where you
Yeah,
like
so
dig a hole in the house.
he lives in the hills, man, in this house that's got a view of the
Uh-huh.
universe, and literally this concert grand piano, and it's a white one because he's a Mac.
Woo!
Uh, he had to have it crane lifted over his house so that he could
Yes.
insert it in the back of his house and then build the sliding door after they put the piano in.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, it is awesome. And why we're bringing this up and really priming this is because he, by his own admission, like he doesn't practice the piano that much,
Mhm.
and so he is an amazing and has a terrific career, accolades as a composer, all of that stuff. I mean, he went to Yale.
Wow.
Yeah, he got his PhD in music at Yale and then became a professor of composition. And you know, meanwhile, As a jazz pianist, he's kind of let himself go a little bit.
Yeah. It happens, man. I get it. I get it. And I feel like it kind of like it's funny to hear that because it kind of would have been crazy if I was like, yeah, man, I still play practice like 8 hours every day and all this other stuff. It's like, first of all, where would I find the time to be honest? But it's,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. When music takes to that next level, and I'm not even talking about working in it professionally or anything, but like it takes on a whole new meaning. And like I said, for me, while I may not be doing these things as vigorously as I used to when I was younger, uh, the meaning is even deeper than it was before because
Yeah.
now I mean, I'm never gonna get music, I'm never gonna understand it, but that's kind of the point of it, always evolving. It's always gonna be something that like it's never stops, you know? Um, and it's great, but it's really cool to see others who are either just getting into it or just finding their own voice, more importantly. There's this young cat that I work with. His name's Connor O'Brien. He's a producer from Boston. He's probably like 27 years old. And I mean, this kid is just, he's going places. He's a DJ, but he's a producer and a songwriter. And he has been working with so many artists out here in LA. And he's very serious about it, man. He's got a sound, he's developing it. And his mixes are just clean. They're so clean. And
Uh,
he's curious and he has all these questions. And he had his first film scoring project earlier this year or last year, I guess now. And he'd asked me, he's like, yeah, man, I kind of don't know where to go with it. I don't know what to do with it. Um, I don't know anything. So like I went over to his house and I just kind of helped him with some setup as far as like just certain things about like terminology and like storytelling and film music. There's obviously not, you can talk all you want, but you just got to do it yourself. And he knocked it out of the park. But being around him has been really inspiring for me because it's gotten me excited about getting back into music. He's always telling me, he's like, bro, man, you got to come over and play with us. You got to jam with us, man. And I'm like, I'm gonna be honest, man. This is part of me really wants. There's a part of me that's nervous as shit. So I'm like, I'm gonna disappoint you, man. I haven't done that in years, you know. But it's cool to be around that energy, you know, and I'm like, this is why music is never gonna, it can never be taken away from us, you know. It's always gonna be here, and it's young minds like that. I don't say that in a condescending way whatsoever. It's minds
For
like
sure.
that get me excited because it gets me excited about the future of of music and storytelling. Because ultimately, whether you're messing with Suno music or any of these other AI bullshit things, like this is ultimately human, and it's really cool to see. Even though I learned music at a very different way, I learned engineering in a very different way than the
mhm.
cats like in the 60s and 70s, where the things that I can clean up with one button, they spent weeks completely tearing down consoles and putting them back in just because I had a little dust in the fader and it was causing some distortion. Me, I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
can clean it up with a little button in here. Uh, there's just that thirst for knowledge, and it's
Yeah,
cool.
the whole thing evolves, man, and I absolutely, just like you just did, give credit to those guys who had to, clean out pots and
Yeah.
do take things apart and edited with a razor blade on a flatbed.
Yep.
I man, tip the cap to those guys. But I was recently in a studio where they were using Pro Tools and using it to great effect. And the engineer was a guy we know named Wes Mabey, who's engineered all kinds of stuff. And he's magnificent. But back behind us, you're sitting in the control room, there was this Studer 2-inch tape machine in the corner. And so the studio owner, a guy named Ari Rios out here, I'll shout out his studio. It's called Laughing Tiger Studio in San Rafael. Um, They've done all kinds of great things in there. He's got a great live room with an amazing piano in it. There's this 2-inch Studer machine in the corner. And I said, Ari, what are you doing with that 2-inch machine, man? You ever wheel that thing out? And he said, no. What, it's just, I don't have any time for it anymore. You just don't have to.
Yeah.
So while we acknowledge the guys who were cutting tape, flatbed with a razor blade, you don't have to do that anymore. And the genius things that came on accident because guys were doing that,
Yep.
are part of music history. And I guess we're going to lose those things. But what else do we gain because we have the efficiency of time now? Because you can see that thing and you can highlight it and hit the delete button.
Yeah.
No, I'll
Yeah.
also say that 2-inch machine, just because it's part of the story. Ari said, "Yeah, I got that 2-inch machine from Narda Michael Walden. He recorded all the Whitney Houston songs on there that we like. He recorded Mariah Carey's first album on that 2-inch machine.
That's wild.
Yeah, and now it's just sitting in the corner. It's picking up
Yeah.
dust."
I want to
Yeah.
jump. I want to jump in. You're talking about music and playing and everything. One of the things you need to understand too is John has rediscovered his music, and I don't know how much you know about this, but he is killing it. And whatever he says, multiply it by 10. You're talking when John plays out, people come to see him play. His bands, multiple, come to see him play, and they throw down. So this year they had probably one of the biggest nights. You know where Luca is downtown in
Mhm.
Benicia. They did a birthday bash for John the day before Thanksgiving, and
What?
everybody showed up. So
Yeah.
you,
You
me,
called me,
Dr.
man.
Bob,
I
we're
would have
going to
drove
come down.
up. I'd have been
Well, we're
Oh
there.
my
gonna we're gonna
God.
do it. We're gonna do it next
It's going to
year,
become
and
an annual
uh,
event because it
Good.
was the biggest night of the year at
they had him
Lucas.
packed out to the street, man.
That's
I'll,
Yeah, it was
amazing.
spilling into the sidewalk. It was pretty good.
he
The
is
uh
he's done
the
it. He's I don't I want to say one more thing about this. We found this all this stuff goes together. We rediscovered John's music because of our ridiculous show. We ended
yeah.
up in a magical place, and a magical thing happened, and John's career was relaunched in playing music. And so he
Yeah.
found time and something way bigger than being a cover band. It's way bigger than that because the joy that he brings all these people, it's an amazing thing. So it's bigger than the music, and it all relates to all the stuff we've been doing. All right, I'll shut up now.
Yeah. No, you're part of this too, Raul. Did you ever hear this story of how
No,
I started playing music again?
no, man, I didn't. I
So
just
when
seen all
Pete and
these
I
pictures of you on Facebook, and so I was like, "Oh man, look at this hair! Look at them guns! Like, what's happening, man?"
Yeah, man. You know what happened was Pete and I were when we started the show, we had a friend who said, "Hey, I'm doing this project with Dwayne Wiggins from Tony, and we're gonna sell shares in his next album. So as a fan, you can buy shares in the album. If the album takes off, the shares become worth something. But really, all you're doing is you're buying fan club stuff because
Mhm.
shareholders get posters and
Right.
they're doing an event with Dwayne. He's gonna sign autographs, stuff like that. So we said, hey, introduce us to Dwayne because we want to have him on this show that we're starting. So he said, all right. So he brings us in. We go to Dwayne's house and his house is a soundstage with an apartment in the mezzanine. So he lives in this apartment, but below is a warehouse. And I mean, the soundstage is to give you the scale of the soundstage. The bands that rehearsed there were like Santana
Mm.
and, of course, Tony. So it was a full stage. And we're there, and Dwayne is nice as could be. May he rest in peace. We just lost him last year, but he was nice as could be, and he said, "Yeah, I'll do your show." And then I was also trying to get another guest, world famous producer named Tommy McElroy, who was responsible for he made In Vogue
Oh
among
wow.
many other things. But so I said, "Hey, Dwayne, I'm sure you know Tommy. I'm trying to get Tommy. Can I just tell him that you're going to be on the show?" To leverage him coming on the show. And he said, "Hey, if you get Tommy on the show, I'll get my piano tuned and you can do the episode here." So I
Oh.
was like, "All right, this is getting better and better." And he goes, "By the way, there's a rehearsal that's happening here in a couple of hours, and it's Levi Caesar who played guitar in Prince's band for 20 years.
Shit.
And he's a Bay Area legend." And he said, do you know Levi?" And I said, "No, but I want to meet him." And he said, "Okay, great. Come back to the rehearsal. I'll introduce you guys." So he did. He was kind enough to do that. Pete and I went, we got some fried chicken, and then came back a couple hours later in time for the rehearsal. He introduced us. And while we were there, the percussionist in that band was Juan Escovedo.
Mhm.
And 15 years before that, I played a gig where Juan Escovedo was the percussionist, and somehow he happened to remember that. So when I reintroduced myself, he said, "Yeah, I remember that gig," and we talked about it, and it was cool. So we're waiting for the rehearsal to start, And Levi takes a phone call and he hangs up the phone and he goes, drummer's running behind. He's going to be about 5 or 10 minutes late. And Juan points at me and says, he plays the drums. And I hadn't played in 15 years. So I was like, in the middle of
Oh my
making excuses. I was about to tell everybody why I was not going to play the drums. And instead, everybody just kind of went back to their work and there was a drum set sitting there. So Pete, I looked over at Pete and he just shrugged his shoulders like, man, you better
That's
get on the drums.
crazy.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
bananas. So I got on the drums and, all I did was keep time. Don't screw anything up. Don't try to do anything flashy. Just let the singers do what they're doing. And then 5 minutes later, the drummer showed up and he took over and I was off the hook. But I managed to not screw anything up while I was up there. And I was up on a drum set that was on a riser that was like 8 feet high. And I'm looking at, just met Levi Caesar and I'm on a stage playing with him. And by the way,
What?
Pete had never seen me play the drums.
Mm-mm.
So I got off the drums,
Really?
handed the sticks over to the
Yeah.
guy. Yeah.
Years you guys known each other, you never seen him? That's crazy.
Because he didn't
Well,
play
we
the
didn't-
drums.
Yeah, we didn't know each other until Pete came back from Afghanistan.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
yeah. So we've had some incredible bonding moments, but we hadn't actually met until, we were both adults. So
Yeah.
I walk off the stage and I walk up and Pete just looks at me and goes, man, what was that? And I said, that was my comeback.
Yeah.
I am back. And I'm in very close touch with Juan Escobedo still. And I credit him. I go to see him play. He comes to see me play. And every time he walks in the house, I acknowledge him. And I say, this guy relaunched my career and I have him to thank for it. And so, yeah, man, that all came back. And, this show was a big part of it. You were a part of it. It all has come together. So anyway, all of that is to say that, yeah, I'm famous within 3 blocks of First Street in Benicia. As soon as I get to the freeway, nobody knows me anymore. But if I throw a birthday party in Benicia, it's pretty well attended.
That's a hell of a story, man. I didn't know that at all. I did not. I've known you guys for 10 years. I never heard that story before. That's incredible. But that's it.
It was
It's in you no matter what.
something else.
Forever.
Yeah,
that's it.
It is. You're absolutely right.
I mean, that's wild, man. Especially it sounds like that turn up was like, I don't know, man. Like that's gonna be the next annual Benicia thing. Is like go to John Guerrero's birthday, man. That's the best.
That's right.
That's cool. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, and then last New Year's Eve, it was cold and rainy, and we didn't think anybody was going to show up because we've traditionally played gigs inside, but we took an outside gig this year and we were like, great, we take an outside gig and it's going to rain. But we had tents up and house was packed.
That's crazy.
Much to everyone's surprise, everybody came out. So
hell yeah, I love that.
Pretty good. I mean, it's not a Grammy award, but
Come on, get out of here with that noise. You're making sound, you're making music, you're connecting people, I mean, that's
he's making babies.
You make that's right.
So the last time that I actually physically saw Raul, everybody, I had just actually the night before I played in that bar
at the Relic.
So I came back to the Relic to do the next day after you pack the house and murder, you come back for the victory lap. Yeah. So the next night I came back in there for the victory lap, and what I had found was I thought I was taking a victory lap. This handsome bastard was standing in there having just won a Grammy award. So
yeah. that was a fun surprise, man. It was the night of my 20-year high school reunion, and I had brought my Grammy up to show my family. I didn't bring it to the reunion. And then all middle classmates were talking about, they're like, you got to bring it to the Relic. So I was like, all right, fine, I'll bring it. And then I brought it, and I saw John. You got to hold it and take. I think we took a picture with it. I don't know, man. That night's kind of a blur.
Did.
Oh, we did? Okay, good.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to send it to me, man, 'cause I don't remember
Even
shit.
even the picture was a blur appropriately.
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah, the first thing I did when I walked outside was I texted that picture to Pete and I said, "Look who I just ran into." No,
Yeah.
I think what I said was, "Look at this pimp."
Mhm.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
been at this for
Anyway,
just about an hour, but so let's wrap it. But man, Raul, I love when we get a chance to do these things, and
Yeah,
I'll just
man.
say this to close it out for me: I never get enough of your time. Let's for sure continue to talk. We haven't even mentioned this whole film industry thing that may be blowing up in Benicia. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But there's so many bright things ahead, and I'm just excited for you, man. It
I
makes me so
appreciate
happy to see you here,
Yeah.
and to have you join me, John.
yeah, I'll close by saying, listen, we've enjoyed watching your journey in these years, and continue to, keep tabs on you and make sure that we see all of the exciting things you're doing. But aside from that, man, it's always just a great time, and we always leave with our faces hurting from all the laughs when we hang out with you.
I appreciate you guys. Seriously, it's I say this every time. You guys have just always felt like home to me, not only because of Benicia, but just, like we said earlier, day one, the first time I ever chatted with anybody about me, and I was like, who the hell wants to know about me? And both you guys were like, we do. And
Yes.
and it's not even about it, because over the years I got to know you guys very well, and you guys have been so instrumental in helping and supporting, and just having conversations about things. And I really, really do appreciate you both, so thank you. I'll keep coming back as long as I got something to say, and as long as you guys want to keep hearing me flap my gums, I'm here for it. But I appreciate you guys. Break It Down show is my home, and let's make 2026 even better than last year.
I love it. Can I
Yes.
ask you one more question? I want you to say something to folks who are in high school. Maybe they're in band, maybe they're trying to make money in music. They don't know what to do. Everybody tells them they can't do it. Talk to those kids who are trying to, and maybe they're college kids, right?
Yeah.
People that are trying to figure out what's next. Can they do it? Is there a path? Talk to those folks.
All right, it's very simple. Keep playing. Don't lose sight of having fun. There are times where my job gets extremely stressful, where I'm stressed out. If I'm stressed out, that means Hans is very stressed out. But we get through it because we all are there for the music, and we get to just kind of inspire each other, support each other when we're down. And I'm not talking about just the music, I'm talking about very human to human level. That's what it's about. Whether it's filmmaking or music or cooking or writing or painting, all of art is storytelling, and it's no fun to tell a story on your own. So I would say don't stress about any of the thing down the line. Don't stress, oh, I don't have money for this, I can't afford this, I haven't been playing music for this long. Doesn't matter. I went into this job never touching Pro Tools before. I didn't even know what an engineer really, really was. All my stuff as a composer was in the box, and things have changed since that. And it's changed because I have surrounded myself, and I've been fortunate enough to be around so many wonderful people that from so many different walks and paths of life, who I think are just geniuses, and we all get to support each other. So you know don't get hung up on all the noise out there. It's our job to make the noise, not to be drowned out by all the noise out there. uh but keep playing, keep making music, keep everything lo-fi. I don't care how big you get. Keep your garage band elements going, and I promise you're going to be fine. You're that next wave of what's happening next. I don't know what it's going to be. You may not, but you're going to be the one that's ushering us into it. So keep it going, baby.